Hey guys, this is Andrew with CPR Instructor Affiliates powered by Prime Medical Training, and today we're going to be going over some of the legal issues and foundational things that you need to have set up when you're starting a business, or if you are running a business and haven't already done it, things that you should be considering doing. So, before we get into that today, please go ahead and subscribe below. You'll be able to keep up to date with all the videos that we're producing that are going to help you be more informed and be able to run a successful CPR business. So, legal issues, there's a lot of them. Nothing huge, but some basic things that are important for you to do to make sure that you're staying above board and don't get yourself in trouble. The first thing that you should be doing is applying for a business license. Now, a business license is usually very inexpensive. It can range anywhere from $10 to $100, and if you're in the city limits, then you may have to apply for a city and county business license. But you can find that out by contacting your local city or county business office, and they'll be able to let you know what the regulations are for that area. So you do that, you get your license. Anytime that you're making money in a particular area, you are required to have a business license. So CPR training company is not exempt from that, so make sure you do it. But before you do that even, you may want to go ahead and get an EIN number, an employee identification number. It's similar to a social security number, but it's a number, so it's basically like a social security number for your company. Okay, and the reason why it's important to do that is you want to be able to separate yourself somewhat from your business. And so now this creates an entity for your business for tax purposes and for other legal purposes, so that people don't see you and your company as one. And also remember that any kind of business accounts that you set up, whether it's bank accounts or business licenses or insurance, they're going to want either a social security number or an EIN number. The problem is this is public information a lot of times, and so you don't want to just be putting down your social security number out there for all these people and all these forms and applications that you're having to fill out. So an EIN also protects your personal social security number from being put out there too much. So an EIN, it's free to do. You can go online. There's going to be a link below where you can go to register. It just takes a few minutes to put in your information and get that number. Once you have your EIN number, you can use that to fill out your business license. And the next thing that you will need to do is get a business checking account. Again, these are generally free. There's no cost to them, and it's important from early on that you are separating out your business income and expenses from your personal income and expenses. And there's a lot of reasons for that. One, you want to be able to have a very clear picture of what is business income and expenses versus personal, because you want to start over time tracking that, seeing the trends and seeing what your increases month over month and year to year, because those numbers are going to help you make decisions for how to continue running your business. You might realize, man, I'm spending way too much here, I need to cut back. But if you're kind of just sticking your finger up in the wind and trying to make the business decisions based on how you feel and your gut feelings, that's going to come back to bite you eventually. You need to start habits early on of looking at your financials and making decisions not based on your gut, but based on what the numbers actually say. And so part of that comes with, at the very basic elementary level, comes with having your own separate business checking account and keeping things exclusively in that account. Same with if you decide to get a credit card, you get a business credit card and keep all your expenses only on that card. Don't mix it up with your personal stuff. The other reason why it's really important to have good financial tracking is because one day maybe you're ready to go sell your company and you need to be able to say, yes, here's my business books, not here's my personal bank account statements, and my business stuff is all mixed in here. It's kind of hard for me to prove what's business and what's personal. You're not going to be able to sell your company that way. And I know you're thinking, well, I'm just getting started with my company. Why am I thinking about selling? But the reality is you need to make good decisions now, because it takes time to build a large successful company. And if you don't lay that foundation down properly, you may get down the road 3 years from now and have to rework everything. It's a lot more time and effort. So better to get things in order now for the long term, for long-term reasons, than to try to have to go back and fix it later on. So business license, an EIN number, business checking account. Another thing that you're going to want to have is insurance. There are some popular insurance providers out there, and you can do some research and you'll find other CPR instructors who have some preferences. However, what I recommend is not to go to just one individual insurance provider, because you don't know what you don't know. And even if you went to a couple insurance providers and you try to get quotes from them, you're going to get two numbers. One number is going to be lower, one number is going to be higher, more than likely. And you don't want to just go with the lower one, though, because in those policies are all these coverages and all of these, rules and exceptions and whatnot. And so you really don't know if you're comparing apples to apples. You might be comparing apples to oranges. And so yes, it's cheaper, but what are you getting for that price? And is it worth it to you? So what I recommend that those in the CPR business do is find a broker and go to that broker and say, hey, this is who we are, what we're looking for. They will, one, try to help educate you on what you need and how much coverage you need, and two, they'll go start shopping for you, and they'll pick a few different insurance providers, see what they're offering, and they'll come back to you with the best possible policy. And that way you know that it really is the best, not just because it's the cheapest, but because it actually has the coverage that you need. And there's no additional charge for this. Broker, they make a commission off of what they sell to the insurance provider or for the insurance provider. They're not upcharging. It's not going to be any additional for you to pay to go through a broker versus going direct with the insurance company. So please find yourself a good broker, be informed, know what it's going to cost you. Finally, there's a few other things that you need to make sure that you're aware of, and that is taxes. You don't want to run your business and then find out later on that you were subject to all these different taxes. So the taxes that you're going to be faced with are going to be property taxes. So if you are running a business, you're going to get taxed on the property of your business. Also, you've got sales and use tax. If you're reselling anything, whether that's books or pocket masks or AEDs, that all is subject to sales tax. You need to be collecting sales tax, and you need to be paying your state the sales tax. So make sure that if you're going to sell any kind of products, we're not talking about services. The training is considered a service, and in most places it's not taxable, but certainly any tangible goods, that's going to be taxable, and you're going to need to register with your Department of Revenue to get a sales and use tax number, and then you're going to need to start reporting that income and paying the sales tax. Now, like I said, usually a service is not taxable, but there are select areas around the country where they require you to charge a tax for services like CPR. So you again want to make sure you check with your Department of Revenue and see if training is considered a taxable service. All right, and then lastly, if you are an LLC, you also will have to pay franchise and excise tax. So don't be surprised at the end of the year. That's one of the downsides to an LLC. There's a lot of upsides, but if you choose to get your LLC, you are now subject to an additional tax that you have to pay. So I hope that's helpful. I hope that this gives you some perspective and things to start working on. Please make sure to subscribe below. We have lots more videos coming out that are going to help you have the resources you need to grow your CPR business and to be successful. So keep tuned, and we will see you soon.